Welcome to Vedanta Bhakti Pravachanam. Let's start chapter 3 of Sai Satcharitra. On the first day of my arrival in Shirdi, there was a discussion between me and Bala Saheb Bhatia regarding the necessity of Guru. I contended, why should we lose our freedom and submit to others? When we have our own duty, why a Guru is necessary? One must try his best and save himself. What can the Guru do to the man who does nothing but sleeps idly? Thus, I pleaded free will while Mr. Bhatia took up the other side. He said, destiny, whatever is bound to happen, must happen. Even great men have failed. Man proposes one way, but God disposes the other. Brush aside your cleverness. Pride and or egoism won't help you. This discussion, with all its pros and cons, went for an hour or so, and as usual, no discussion was arrived at. We had to stop the decision ultimately as we were exhausted. The net result of this was that I lost the peace of mind and found that unless there is a strong body consciousness and egoism, there would be no discussion. In other words, it is egoism which breeds discussion. Then when we went to the masjid with others, Baba asked Kaka Saheb Dikshit the following. What was going in the Satewada? What was the discussion about? And staring at me, Baba further added, what did this Hemadpan say? Hearing these words, I was much surprised. The masjid was at considerable distance from Satewada, where I was staying and where the discussion was going on. How could Baba know our discussion unless he would be omniscient and inner ruler of all us? I began to think why Sai Baba could call me by the name Hemad Pant. This word is the distorted form of Hemadri Pant. This Hemadri Pant was a well-known minister of the kings Mahadev and Ramdev of Devgiri of the Yadav dynasty. He was very learned, good-natured and the author of good works such as Chaturvarga Chintamani and Raj Prashasti. He invented and started new methods of account and was the originator of the Modi script. But I was quite the opposite, an ignoramus and of dull, mediocre intellect. So I couldn't understand why the name or title was conferred upon me. But thinking seriously upon it, I thought that the title was a dart to destroy my ego, so that I should always remain meek and humble. It was also a compliment paid to me for the cleverness in the discussion. Looking to the future history, we think that Baba's words were significant and prophetic, as we find that he looked after the management of Sai Sansthan very intelligently, kept nicely all the accounts, and was also the author of such a good work Sai Satcharitra, which deals with such important and spiritual subjects as Jnana, Bhakti and dispassion, self-surrender and self-realization. Hemad Pant has left no note, no memo about what Baba said regarding this subject, but Kaka Saheb Dikshit has published his note regarding this matter. Next day after Hemad Pant meeting with Sai Baba, Kaka Saheb went to Baba and asked whether he would leave Shirdi. Baba said, yes. Then someone asked, Baba, where to go? Baba said, high up. The man said, how is the way? Baba said, there are many ways leading there. There is one way also from here. The way is difficult. There are tigers and wolves in the jungle on the way. Kaka Saheb asked, but Baba, what if we take a guide with us? Baba answered, then there is no difficulty. The guide will take you straight to your destination, avoiding wolves and tigers and ditches, etc. on the way. If there be no guide, there is danger of being lost in the jungles or falling into ditches. Mr. Dabolkar was present on the occasion and he thought that this was the answer Baba gave to the question whether Guru was necessary, and he thereupon took the hint that no discussion of the problem, whether man is free or bound, is of any use in spiritual matters, but that on the contrary, real Paramartha is possible only as the result of the teachings of the Guru, as is illustrated in the chapter of the original work in the instances of great avatars like Rama and Krishna, who had to submit themselves to their gurus Vasistha and Sandipani respectively for getting self-realization, and that the only virtues necessary for such progress are faith and patience. If a man utters my name with love, I shall fulfill all his wishes, increase his devotion, and if he sings earnestly my life and my deeds, I shall be set in front and back and on all sides. Those devotees who are attached to me, heart and soul, will naturally feel happiness when they hear these stories. Believe me that if anybody sings my Leelas, I will give them infinite joy and everlasting contentment. It is my special characteristic to free any person who surrenders completely to me and who does worship me faithfully and who remembers me and meditates on me constantly. How can there be consciousness of worldly objects and sensations? Who utter my name, who worship me, who think of my stories and my life, and who thus always remember me, I shall draw out my devotees from the jaws of death. If my stories are listened to, all that is just will be got rid of. So, hear my stories with respect and think and meditate on them, assimilate them. This is the way of happiness and contentment. The pride and egoism of my devotees will vanish. The mind of the hearers will be set at rest. And if it has wholeheartedly and complete faith, it will be one with supreme consciousness, the simple remembrance of my name as Sai. Sai will do away with sins and speech and hearing.